Thank you for joining our training on backup and recovery with QNAP NAS. Maintaining backups of your data plays a crucial role in ensuring that your business runs smoothly. Whether storing important documents, emails, photo or video content, or any number of things, your business likely runs on your data, and losing it isn't an option. In this training, we'll be going over the importance of backups, some challenges associated with maintaining intact and secure data backups, and some backup solutions to help ensure that your business's data is always well kept. As companies' data storage overhead increases and everyday business activity becomes more reliant on a digital environment, the issue of how to keep one's data is an increasingly crucial component to the long-term health of a company. From websites to records, product content to spreadsheets, the everyday operation of your business likely relies on data being securely stored so that it can be accessed anytime and withstand whatever security threats may be lurking. Some potential pitfalls to be mindful of in protecting a business's data include drive failures, malware attacks, other potential security breaches, and natural disasters. Although a storage device may be very well constructed, there's always some potential possibility for unexpected issues with any piece of hardware, so it's imperative to maintain multiple copies of data. Human error can be the source of lost data. Files can be accidentally deleted. Additionally, given enough time, the eventual failure of a drive every now and then is to be expected. Drive failure can be another potential data storage disaster if appropriate measures have not been taken. While it may be rare occurrence, a natural disaster can potentially wipe out an entire location's servers, and if all of a business's data is stored in that sole location without being backed up elsewhere, the ramifications would likely be devastating. When you initialize your NAS, you will set a RAID array for redundancy to protect against drive failure. In a RAID array, the data is dispersed across multiple drives to create a single logical storage space. This is done in such a way so that there will be redundancy so that if a drive failure occurs, the data is still available on the other drives, so the RAID can be rebuilt simply by adding a replacement drive and no data is lost. There are multiple RAID configurations that can be set. QNAP supports RAID 0, RAID 1, RAID 5, RAID 6, RAID 10, RAID 50, and RAID 60. RAID 0 actually arranges all of the drives with no redundancy so that you would lose all of the data of the array if a single drive failed. This RAID is not typically recommended as it provides no redundancy, but it does provide the highest performance, so in certain use cases this may be a viable option. RAID 1 will mirror the data. This RAID configuration is often used on 2-bay NAS deployments. Basically, either drive can fail and you retain the data. The trade-off with this choice is that you will only get the storage capacity of one of the drives rather than both. RAID 5 arrays dedicate one drive to redundancy, so you will sacrifice the storage space of one drive, but any drive in the array could fail and you will still have your data intact. This array requires a minimum of 3 drive bays. RAID 6 arrays dedicate 2 drives to redundancy, so you will sacrifice 2 drive bays, allowing for any 2 drives in the array to fail. This array requires a minimum of 4 drive bays. RAID 10 combines RAID 1 and RAID 0, meaning it takes multiple RAID 1 mirrors and stripes those mirrors in a RAID 0. This array gives you half the capacity of the total drives, and you will be able to lose up to 1 drive per RAID 1 array. However, if 2 drives from the same RAID 1 fail, you will lose the data of the array. This configuration provides excellent performance while maintaining substantial data redundancy. This array requires a minimum of 4 drive bays. RAID 50 combines RAID 5 with RAID 0. Similar to RAID 10, however, instead of striping RAID 1 mirrors together, it stripes together RAID 5 arrays. Any one drive can be lost from either of the RAID 5 arrays. This configuration requires a minimum of 6 drive bays. RAID 60, similar to the previous 2 mentioned, stripes multiple RAID 6 arrays in a RAID 0, so any 2 drives can be lost from each RAID 6 array. RAID 60 requires a minimum of 8 drive bays. You can also schedule snapshots to protect against ransomware and accidental deletion. Snapshots keep a record of your data from a point in time that can be rolled back to in the event that your data is compromised. This is achieved by saving changes that are made to the volume data along with metadata. This makes recovery faster and minimizes storage overhead, as snapshots are not entire backups. The Security Counselor app consolidates security features and enables you to scan the NAS for potential threats to help ensure that the data you're backing up remains safe. There are numerous security features that can be implemented on the NAS, including snapshot technology, which keeps a record of your data at a point of time so it can be rolled back to in the event of a ransomware attack. Security Counselor facilitates system scans to check for vulnerabilities. QNAP also supports AES 256-bit encryption. You can encrypt your data with volume-based encryption to keep your data secure in the event that your NAS is stolen. Encryption is set at the creation of a volume on the NAS. When an encrypted volume has been created, you may lock the volume, making it inaccessible, or you can unlock the volume. You can set the volume either to stay unlocked if you turn off the NAS, or you can set the volume to always automatically lock when the NAS is powered on. Another way to keep your backups on the NAS secure is to backup the backups. QNAP enables you to set automated backups to other NASs or public cloud services for offsite backup. Hybrid Backup Sync 3 is an app for QNAP which consolidates numerous types of backup jobs in one place. You can use Hybrid Backup Sync 3 to easily backup external drives, set time machine backups, NAS to NAS backups, and NAS to cloud backups. Hybrid Backup Sync 3 supports encrypted backups to keep your data secure no matter what server it's kept on, as well as source-side deduplication to minimize cloud storage overhead and conserve bandwidth, enabling quicker backups, quicker restoration, and lower cloud storage costs. Additionally, Hybrid Backup Sync 3 supports the TCP/BBR protocol, which makes quicker data transfers across the internet, especially when traveling a long distance to reach the destination server. The Hybrid Backup Sync 3 interface is broken up into 6 sections that are navigated between by selecting the section's corresponding tab on the left side of the window. These sections include Overview, Backup and Restore, Sync, Jobs, Services, and Storage Spaces. The Overview section includes a brief description of the app, a job status section, a listing of your various storage spaces that are set up, such as public cloud services that you may be backing up to, an alarm log, which keeps track of things like failed backup jobs, and also includes download links for the QDedupe extract tool, which enables you to extract cloud backups that had been deduplicated with QNAP's QDedupe feature directly from the cloud to your workstation, even without accessing the QNAP NAS. This way, if something were to happen to your NAS, you'll still have a way to access deduplicated data stored on the public cloud services. The Backup and Restore section is where you create backup jobs from the NAS to either another location on the same NAS, a separate NAS, or a public cloud. You will also be able to view backup jobs that have been created here. This will display the source folder of the backup job, including total files, total size, and filtered files. And it will display the backup job's destination. From this page, you have the ability to edit backup jobs and view reports logging the execution of these backup jobs, including the start time of the backup, the number of files processed, the total transfer size, and the status of the backup. This is also the section from which you would restore a backup. Below the Backup and Restore section is the Sync section. This is where you can set up a sync job between the NAS and either another NAS or a public cloud service. This includes two-way syncs, one-way syncs, and active sync jobs. A two-way sync will first delete all of the data from the remote folder that you sync the NAS with and add all of the data from the NAS folder that you are syncing, so that both the local folder on the NAS and the remote folder are the same. From that point, any change in one folder will be made to the other, whether adding a file or deleting a file. A one-way sync will copy data from the local NAS to the remote NAS, If a file is added or deleted on the local NAS folder, the file will be added or deleted on the remote folder. However, files added or deleted on the remote folder will not be added or deleted on the local NAS. ActiveSync will pull the data from the remote folder to the local NAS. If a file is added or deleted from the remote folder, it will be added or deleted on the NAS. The fourth tab down is Jobs. This is where you can view your specific backup jobs that you have created in Hybrid Backup Sync 3. This is where you can start, stop, or delete a job at any time. All of your jobs will be listed here, including the job type, job name, source and destination, schedule, and status. Additionally, there's an action column from which you can start or stop the job, view a report of the job, edit the job, or restore the backup using the job. In addition to listing the jobs set up on this NAS, there is also a tab listing any incoming jobs that may have been set up with other servers using this NAS as the destination. The next tab down is the Services tab. This is where Time Machine backups are configured, as well as where you can enable the NAS as an rsync server to sync remote rsync clients. It is also where you can enable the NAS as an RTRR server, which supports the TCP BBR protocol, WAN integration with QNAP's QWAN, and upload and download limits. And Services is also where you can configure USB one-touch copy jobs. Lastly is the Storage Spaces tab. This gives you a view of your local storage, including QNAP storage pools, volumes, and LUNs, your remote server storage spaces, and your cloud server storage spaces. You can also create new storage spaces here. QNAP facilitates simple integration with Time Machine. A QNAP's shared folder acts as a target disk for Time Machine backups, facilitating incremental backups of your Mac to the NAS. These backups can be used to restore individual files or the entire Mac. QNAP can also support multiple Time Machine backups from various Macs. These backups can be made either to a dedicated shared Time Machine account on the QNAP, or you can create separate user accounts and create shared folders for each account dedicated for Time Machine backups. Setting up a shared Time Machine account is done in the Hybrid Backup Sync app. When creating an account, you will choose user credentials for the account, which storage volume of the NAS you will be storing the backups on, and you will have the option to set a capacity limit for how much space these backups can take in order to preserve the storage of the NAS. If you are creating separate accounts for Time Machine backups, naturally you will set credentials for each account. Then you can create a shared folder for that account, which can be set as a Time Machine backup destination. You will also be able to set storage quotas for individual user accounts. It is recommended to set a capacity quota at least twice the size of the max storage space. For PC backups, QNAP has created a software called Netbak Replicator, which can be downloaded from the QNAP Utilities site. This is a software that runs on the PC that you will be backing up. To use Netbak Replicator, simply open it and select your region, and then use the wizard to configure your backup job. Netbak Replicator will be able to find all QNAP devices connected to the local area network. You can use this to locate the NAS which you would like to use and select it. You will then select a shared folder on your NAS to make the backup to. You will also need to input your NAS user credentials to create the backup job. Netbak Replicator supports incremental backups. Scheduled backups can be set for automatic backup. You can create scheduled backups for individual files or folders. Netbak Replicator also supports backups to FTP and WebDAV folders. Virtualization is a strategy that is instrumental in cutting IT costs and simplifying IT management. Should something occur to a business's virtual machine servers without backup, the fallout would be detrimental. QNAP has created the app Hyper Data Protector to easily leverage the NAS for VM backups and simplify the virtualization backup process. Hyperdata Protector is a license-free backup application for VMware and Hyper-V virtual machines. You can back up all VMs on a hypervisor or choose specific VMs within a hypervisor to back up. Hyperdata Protector supports source-side incremental backup and global deduplication, greatly reducing the storage overhead necessary when backing up numerous VMs. You can also perform simultaneous VM backups to back up multiple VMs together. Boxafe is an application used for backing up your Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 accounts, including Gmail, Google Drive, Google Contacts, and Google Calendar from Workspace, and Outlook, OneDrive, Outlook People, and Outlook Calendar from 365. SharePoint backups from Microsoft 365 are supported as beta, starting with Boxafe 1.3. This application could be a crucial tool to ensure that you are able to preserve all of the data created in your Google Workspace and Microsoft 365 environments. While these services are often key in facilitating widespread collaboration within a business, if you don't have a reliable backup solution, you could find yourself missing important files from these platforms essential to your workflow. QmailAgent is an app available from the App Center designed to back up and manage multiple email accounts on one location on the NAS. Once downloaded, you can select the provider of the email you will be backing up and input the account information such as the display name and email address. You will also choose where on your NAS to store the email backups. When setting up an email backup job, you can choose whether to include attachments with the backup or to omit the attachments when backing up the email. With the vast capacity of the QNAP NAS, QmailAgent is an excellent option for backing up and archiving numerous email accounts. QmailAgent also serves as a solution to manage and view emails from numerous accounts in one location and supports push notifications to the QTS desktop, Chrome, Safari, and Firefox browsers. QNAP can be used for mobile device backups using the QFile app available on Android devices in the Google Play Store and iOS devices in the Apple Store. QFile allows you to access the NAS from your mobile device. You can back up files from your mobile device to your NAS. You can also set your device to automatically back up photos to the NAS as they are taken. The thought of a drive failing on your computer or falling prey to a malware attack compromising your data may seldom cross your mind. But when your data is put in jeopardy, having a backup of your data can make a world of difference. A common standard in backup strategies is the 3-2-1 rule. This rule instructs us to maintain at least 3 copies of a file across at least 2 different mediums, with at least 1 copy of the data kept off-site. So you want at least 3 copies of your data stored on 2 separate devices, with at least 1 copy of the data kept off-site from the other 2. So for instance, an employee may have a particular file stored on their computer. This could be one of the 3 copies, as well as one of the 2 mediums. The employee may then proceed to back up the file to an external drive, providing a second copy, and then from there, they may back up the file to a public cloud service, serving as both the 3rd copy and the offsite backup. This gives thorough protection against a number of potential threats to your data, such as failed drives, malware attacks, or natural disasters. Should your computer lose access to the file due to a virus, the file is still on that external drive, while if there were a fire where they're both located, the cloud backup would still be available. QNAP is an ideal solution to meet these guidelines, as it is an easy and simple backup destination for multiple types of devices, and it supports automated offsite backups either to another QNAP NAS or a public cloud service. QNAP implements a wide array of Intel CPUs to provide powerful, reliable NAS storage for the business space. Ranging from Intel Celeron-based NAS to support small business data storage on a budget, to Intel Core processors for medium businesses requiring more power, and even Xeon-based processors to support storage for enterprises running resource-intensive applications requiring excellent speed and reliability. Thank you for joining our ransomware training, and take a look at some of our other training material as well to better utilize your QNAP NAS.